Unit 1 review. Directions for 25 through 28. Decide if the following represent functions or not. Explain why or why not to receive full credit. So if it says to decide if it's a function or not, we will make sure we answer with yes or no, and then we need to explain. Okay, the first one, if we look at the table, kind of what I'm looking at with this table here, I see a 2, 6 and a 2, 8. We know that every input is only allowed to have one output, so this is going to be a no, and I'm just going to say 2 has 2 outputs. That is not allowed. Okay, number 26. If you looked at our pictures on the wall, I would notice that this is an absolute value function, so, and it looks like a V, so I'm going to say yes, this is a function because it is a member of the absolute value family. Okay, number 27, if I'm given a graph, I usually like to use the vertical line test. So if I do the vertical line test, I notice that vertical line, each vertical line touches in 2 places, and it's only allowed to touch in 1 place because every input's only allowed to have 1 output. So this is going to be no, and I'm going to say it fails the vertical line test. And remember, we do want to actually write out vertical line test. Okay, all right, number 28 still is a yes or no, so be careful about this. A teacher makes a table that lists the number of letters X in the last name and the number of letters Y in the first name of each student in the class. So I'm just going to start making a list here. Okay, X has to be the last name, and then Y is going to be the first name, so keep that in mind. So let's see, I'm trying to think of some people I have in my class. So let's see, I have last name is Adams and the first name is John, and then we've got last name of Cooper and the first name of Allen. And then what I'm going to be looking for, is there any way to repeat the input but then get a different output? I'm going to say Adams. I know that another Adams is Jack. So notice that one input, you can have the same last name but different first names, which makes it not a function. So I'm going to say no, it's not a function. I'm just going to say someone could have the same last name but different first names. And obviously that would be true, like in a family, there's lots of people that have the same last name but have different first names, so they're not functions. Okay, 29, TCBY charges $3.50 for a large cup of frozen yogurt plus 89 cents for each topping. They offer 8 different toppings. The total cost of the yogurt, Y, is a function of the number of toppings, N, and it says to identify the independent and dependent variables. So we're going to list independent and dependent. Okay, so what do you have control over? What do you get to pick? Well, you get to pick the number of toppings. So we're going to put number of toppings for that. And then what depends on how many toppings you pick? The cost depends on the number of toppings that you pick. All right, so there we go. Make a table of values for all numbers in the domain. So I'm going to use, instead of using X and Y, I'm going to use N and Y. And I'm actually going to come over here because I think I'm going to need some more room. Okay, and it says for all the numbers in the domain. So how many toppings could I pick? Well, I could decide I don't want any toppings. I could pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and when I do that, if I don't pick any toppings, it's going to be $3.50. If I pick 1 topping, it's going to be $4.39. I'm just adding 89 cents every time. For 2 toppings, $5.28. For 3 toppings, $6.17. For 4 toppings, $7.06. For 5 toppings, $7.95. I definitely don't think I want that many toppings. That's a really expensive cup of yogurt. 6 toppings would be $8.84. 7 toppings would be $9.73. I think I forgot one in between there somewhere. 8 toppings would be $10.62. And I think somewhere in there I am missing a value. I'm just not sure. 83, 83. I think I have to go one more. 89, that's going to be 1151, I believe. You might want to check that just to double check to make sure, and you let me know if I screwed up. Okay, and then identify the range. The range is all the possible outcomes. So it's going to be anywhere from 350. The smallest I'm going to pay is 350 because I'm assuming I'm going to get that yogurt. 350, and I'm going to pay all the way up to $11.51. So that's what the range would look like. Okay, problem 30. Let f of x equal 1/2 x plus 3. Find f of -6. Okay, remember f of x is just saying, hey, wait a minute, this is a function. So you really don't care about that other than it's a function. This was being put in place of the x, so we're going to put -6 in place of the x. So this is going to be 1/2 times -6 plus 3. So 1/2 times -6 is -3 plus 3. That will give me an answer of 0.